we're relearning the lesson that it's important to diversify your suppliers if you can. Do we not need to diversify also with respect to our relationship with China?
We can really work together. And I think there's tremendous potential for those 5,000 German companies. Welcome to CCG Global Dialogue. It's really a great occasion to welcome, to host these important exchanges. What do you think about these economic relations between China and the EU and China and Germany, and now with all those new development with the geopolitical tension, with the Ukraine-Russian war, and so how we can really steer through this complex situation and continue, the cooperation as much as we can.
One of the immediate lessons which we Germans had to draw from what has been happening in and with Ukraine recently is that we need to confess to ourselves that apparently we were too naive regarding, for example, our energy dependence on Russia. The German mainstream for the last 50 years thought that it was a good idea, in fact, to buy oil and gas from Russia because it was available, it was cheaper, and it appeared to be totally reliable. And that's why we supported, as a government, the building of pipelines, etc., etc. And we thought that because this had worked quite well, even during the difficulties of the Cold War, we thought that this relationship, this energy relationship, was more or less untouchable, and it would not be affected by the turmoils of international conflicts, etc. Well, we now had to learn that it is actually not a good idea to have 30 or 40 or 50% of your energy requirements coming only from one source. We are relearning the lesson, which is a very simple lesson, which all of us have learned. We're relearning the lesson that it's important to diversify your suppliers if you can. And that is, of course, now a very urgent mission regarding our relationship with Russia, because we're being accused by our own public, but certainly by others, that by buying all the Russian gas, we're actually financing Russian aggression against Ukraine. That's a bitter complaint, and we need to get rid of that. Now, why is this important in the relationship with China? It is important because the German business community has, over the last several decades, made itself far more dependent on China than it has ever been on Russia. Major German automobile manufacturers, for example, sell more automobiles today, or build more automobiles today in China than anywhere else in the world. 30%, up to 40% or so of their overall activities have to do with China. So there is obviously now a reflection underway, which means that people are trying to figure out what, if anything, might be the lessons that our companies ought to learn from the debacle, from the catastrophe, from the difficulty that the war in Ukraine has created for our relationship with Russia. Do we not need to diversify also with respect to our relationship with China? Is it healthy, or is it going to be a future problem if at least important elements of our business community are so dependent on their relationship with China. In other words, we are not yet in a German or European Chinese crisis, but there is a growing degree of reflection and a growing degree of skepticism whether such extensive dependencies are good. One of the catchwords that everybody who listens to this, to our conversation, is familiar with is deglobalization. Bringing production back home, etc. Personally, I don't think that that works for a country like Germany that is so totally export dependent. But I do understand that political leaders and business leaders are now trying to think hard about ways to reduce their exposure on outside actors, including this important relationship with China.
Now we're having this energy crisis caused by Ukraine and Russian, this conflict. That's really going to really set us back on more other, polluted fossil energies. So, we have a vital interest, particularly a lot of the technology from European companies can be really beneficial, not only for the Chinese market, but also for German and EU market as well. So I think we have a vested interest working together. And China and the EU, particularly EU, and given the Paris Accord and the climate change leading position, we can really work together. And I think there's tremendous potential for those 5,000 German companies and hundreds of thousands of EU companies in China, and also vice versa.